Hi friends, this video is about rational typology. It's a correction video, an acknowledgement of wrongness on my part, and addressing some of the things they've said. So, first of all, they did send me the unedited video, and in her email, she did say she was going to send the unedited video. I read the first half of the email and said she was going to send the edited video, I thought, and then I didn't read it very carefully. It did, in fact, say at the end of it that she was going to send me the unedited video. And, in fact, they did send it a couple of days ago, and I just hadn't checked my email. So I was wrong about this, okay? I'm sorry I said they lied to me when they said they were going to send me the unedited video, because they did, in fact, send it. So I was wrong. No, when I'm wrong about something, I make a point saying, I was wrong, here's why I was wrong, blah, 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 blah. In the live stream earlier tonight, one of the people from Rational Typology came around and continued to try to argue with me, to say that I had committed logical fallacies, in particular, an appeal to consensus. And with that one, at least, I'm pretty sure I know what they're referring to. Now, no, when told this today in the live stream, I said, okay, well, produce an example of one. They refused to produce any example of one. They said I committed the fallacy of appeal to consensus, a fallacy of straw manning them, I think they said, and some other fallacy that I don't remember what they named. But a couple of things about this. People don't really understand fallacies and how they work very well. Oh, ad hominem. They said I committed an ad hominem fallacy. So, thing is, a fallacy is an element of an argument which, being fundamentally unsound, renders the argument as a whole invalid. Okay? That's the definition of a fallacy. If I insult you, that is not an ad hominem fallacy. That's an insult. To be an ad hominem fallacy, I have to say you're wrong because you're a jerk. Right? Not just you're a jerk. Now, let's say I were to say I'm right because more people agree with me, or I'm right because I'm an expert. That would be an appeal to consensus of some sort, right? But that's not what I actually said. What I said is not that you should think I'm correct because of these reasons about typology, but that you should think that maybe I know what I'm talking about logic because I've taught it before. It's a perfectly reasonable justification to make, right? So if you're talking about conditional logic and I'm talking about conditional logic and I'm genuinely an expert in it and you don't seem to know what you're talking about, pointing out that maybe you should listen to me because I do know what I'm talking about. I'm not just talking out of my ass. Pointing out my credentials and stuff is a perfectly reasonable justification for why you ought to listen to me. Now, it's not a reasonable justification for why you should just accept what I'm saying is correct without parsing it yourself, but these people are not parsing anything I'm saying or doing. During this live stream, I tried to get them to establish some position of theirs about cognitive functions that they thought maybe was in disagreement with mine. They refused to do so. They were unable or unwilling to do so. Their critique of me is basically an FE critique. They don't like my attitude. They don't like my saying that I'm right to the exclusion of other people. They think that I'm bragging and overly sure of myself. But, of course, they're also guilty of something called the fallacy of fallacies. Even if they were to catch me in fallacious reasoning, so what? Being fallacious doesn't mean you're wrong, okay? So if I say all humans breathe, I breathe, therefore I'm a human, all those statements are true, but it's not a valid argument, right? So the thing is, just because something's invalid argumentationally doesn't mean it's wrong. However, if you're going to call yourself rational typology and claim that your typological system is more rational than mine or something, or claim that you're not wrong but still disagree with me, then you need to justify those claims with actual argumentation. And so I pointed out to them as well, I actually am a debate coach, which means I know what qualifies as good argumentation and bad argumentation. I understand why things don't work as argumentation, depending on the kinds of claims being made and such. Again, not a reason to think I'm right about typology or what I'm saying, but a good reason to think that if I'm critiquing somebody's argumentation as fundamentally flawed and giving good justifications as to why, that I am actually knowing what I talk about, right? That I'm not just talking out my ass. I'm not just talking about Eric's made up shit. Debate is a very heavily parsed sport. So it's like argumentation is well understood. All different kinds of you can't make an argument of any sort under any frame of reference. The debate already has an accounted for, labeled, taxonomy, etc. And it's like in debate you can run whatever you want, anything goes, but they still always fall into certain kinds of arguments, right? There's a finite number of kinds of arguments that can be made, and there's a finite number of kinds of justifications that can be made for things. So rational typology put the cart way before the horse. I'm not sure what they think about typology. They won't answer my questions regarding that. They just kind of mush and mew away. From what I understand, the wife's INFJ, the husband's something else, supposedly INTJ. I've never spoken to the wife. If she is INFJ, there's going to be trouble in this relationship. Because the more she hears me talk, the more she's going to be convinced that I'm right and her husband's wrong. Because after all, if she really is an INFJ, she's got TI as a third slot absolute value, and NI as an absolute value, and the singular truth and deductively substantiatable truth of what I'm saying is ultimately going to appeal to her much more powerfully than anything her husband's saying, because whatever type he is, and this is not why he's wrong, but it's why I can't talk to him, he's very not smart. Like, doesn't get basic concepts of things. So I really can't have a conversation meaningfully with him because of that. It's because I do understand concepts, and I am an actual intellectual, and these people are not. And so that's, it's like, again, not why I'm right, but a good heuristic we can all use to say, gosh, if this person can't do basic arithmetic, maybe we shouldn't trust their position on calculus, right?